Oh, we did not.
She will know. If she knows, she will not do it.
If people know.
Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for joining. We are super excited to have you on the call. Thank you so much. I celebrate you all for being here tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please, can we quickly share with our members? We want to fill up this. This is a serious conversation we're having. This is a serious conversation that we are having right now as we prepare for 2026. So we don't learn the hard way. I'm sure we don't want to learn the hard way, do we? Yeah. Do we want to learn the hard way? When penalties start coming. See my beautiful chair. You are looking so beautiful. My chair. Can you hear me? Please, can anybody confirm that you can hear? You can see me. Oh, fantastic. I love that you're starting, that you're joining from Nairobi, Kenya. Where are you joining us from? Can you put the name of your club and your location? I'll be very intrigued to know where you are joining us from tonight. Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from? Please, can we share the flyer? And we share the flyer to get more of our members to join. This is a serious conversation that we are having. Where are we joining from? Where are we joining from? Good evening, and welcome from wherever you are. Thank you, Rotarian UD. Yeah, okay. You are joining us from Kenya. Oh, you went for some fun things. Okay. My brother, JC Damilola Martins. I think you are IPP for Festac Town. Fantastic. Rotarian Vivian Telma, thank you for joining from Agbara, from RC Agbara. Laura from Lagos. Rotarian Jessica Simpson, my Oga at the top, joining from RC Greenfield. Fantastic. My I told you. You see, the weather is different. My chair. You are joining us all the way from Dallas, Texas. And I see my brother here, my past president, Rotarian Olumide Adebowale from RCE Keja Golden. Can we see more comments? We need to fill up this Zoom. Our goal is to go beyond 100 on 100. Nothing more, nothing less than 100 on 100. I don't know if my DG is here. I see my chair. Okay, our guest is here. Okay, I'm a host. Let me make him a co-host because he's going to be presenting to us. Fantabulous. My chair. It's good to have
Yes,
you.
please.
The weather there is definitely different. Thank you, our facilitator, for joining the call. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure our DG would be joining us very soon. I see my boss, our own very Teddy, Rotarian Lewis from Omole Golden, one of the only golden club that are doing very golden things. Thank you so much. Please, let's share. Let's invite our members to join us. I've done a direct WhatsApp messages to all of us. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you. The intimacy master, Rotarian Jessica. Good to have you here. Rotarian Vivian, thank you for joining. I'm waiting to celebrate as many people as I can. See, okay, I see Rotarian Latifa joining us and Rotarian Akan. You were the first to be on this call today. See my flowers. You were the first to join the call today, Rotarian Akan. This is me giving you your flowers. Can we give him some emojis? Can we use some emojis to celebrate him as he joins us tonight? I've celebrated, okay, Rotarian UD, Rotarian Ogunyemi, day 2. It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much. Okay, I beg your pardon, Rotarian, past president Rotarian Shadrach Akan from RC Ikeja. I should be in your meeting very soon, very, very soon. It's good to have you here. We're waiting to, let me get the DG because he's supposed to be here to kick off the meeting, our own United District Governor. Let me try and get him to join us. I know he's coming from an event right now. There was the Zone 4 event that is just come from the workshop. I missed it. I'm not happy I did. Okay.
Hello, my DG.
Program.
Program is about to start, sir.
Okay. Give me some 5 minutes.
All right, sir.
3 minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you, my DG.
Okay, fantastic, everyone. Just waiting for the number 1 citizen of District 9111, or as we fondly call it, District 9111. Fantastic, everyone. Fantastic. My check, please. Okay, let me say hi to you very quickly. Please, we're waiting for your members to join. Please just put it out there
They
that
will
we are
join.
live
They will
for
join.
them
We're
to
trying
join
to
the
get
call
our
tonight.
We're trying to
Thank
get
you
our
so
act
much.
together. They are trying to join. We are trying to call up people to join.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Thank you, my chair.
Yeah, you're welcome. Our DG will join us in the next few minutes.
So we have heard that the DG will be joining us in the next few minutes. Fantastic. This is exciting. I know some people are still at that venue because I know that okay, we're already live on YouTube. So what is one thing you'd like to take away from this experience for those of us that are here right now? What is one thing you would like to take away from this experience? What is one thing? Would you like to unmute or would you like to type it? What is one thing you'd like to take away from this experience? What is one takeaway you're excited or looking forward to? What is one thing you would like to learn from this experience? social media guru. Okay, wow, I didn't know I was muted. Please, what is one thing you'd like to take away? Thank you so much, Rotarian Ade Ogunyemi Adetutu. My own Oga at the top, the delectable, the beautiful Rotarian Adetutu. Thank you for joining from Omole Golden. Okay. Thank you. I was asking, unfortunately, I got muted. What is one thing you would like to learn from this experience? What is one thing you would like to learn from this experience? What is one thing you'd like to take away from this experience? I'm asking because I want your response. It's important to get your response. What is your one takeaway as we wait on our DG to join us? What is one takeaway you'd like to take away from here? You can unmute to speak. Okay, insight. I see the beautiful response. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that response. Okay, I see insight, better insight into tax matters, because next year, I went for an NGO conference. They said they are coming for all NGOs. So if you were not filing, get ready to file. And you need to know what to expect. And this is no joke. This is no joke. I'm on my team. We don't keep receipts. Start keeping your receipt. What is one thing you'd like to take away from this experience? What is one area of tax that gives you concern that you would like to make sure that you better have understanding? What is one area of our tax that is your challenge? Anybody? What are the areas of concern? Is my DG here? Let me check again to be sure. Okay, business name and limited liability. Which way better for tax relief? Oh, okay. I don't mind you. I mean, I saw on social media. I'm sure our tax guru will be speaking on that. You know, which one is easier, but I don't think anyone is good, because if you don't pay tax as a business, you would either pay as I'm not a tax expert. I'm sure our guest, Mr. Chido Udu, I'm sure you're taking notes of what areas of concern that our people have. I'm still asking, what are the areas of concern? What confuses you about tax? Because honestly, even me, I get confused about it. My chair, please, I sent you a message in the DM. Okay,
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay, again, I want to ask you to please invite your members. This is very important. We want to experience wellness. Oh,
Okay.
is our DG here? Our DG is still not here. Maybe he's on the road to the office. So I'm asking again, I'll still ask the same question. What is one area that you're not clear about? What is one area with regards to tax filing that is confusing you? Okay, what the likely fate of NGOs in this Rotarian Laura, that is a fantastic question. I went for a conference, and sincerely, when they were saying NGO, there's no hiding place. There's no hiding. I belong to the Nigerian network of NGOs, and we had a conference, and the tax guy was telling us there's nowhere to hide. You have to make sure your books are in order. You have to ensure that your books are in order. So there's nowhere to hide. And he even told us, if you know you can't run your NGO, shut it down. We didn't want to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear that. So I'm sure our guest today will be speaking and doing a good job. Mr. Odo, are you taking notes? People want to know where the relief is going to come from. I'm still asking, I need more responses. What is the area that is giving us concern with regards to our tax filing, with regards to our tax? Yeah, what is one area that we are not sure? I see my brother from Omole Golden, the only golden club, Rotarian Akonde. Thank you for joining. I see Sandra, Rotarian Sandra. Please, if I didn't put PAG, please forgive me. If you are a PAG or AG or past district governors, please, I sincerely apologize. It's not intended. You can DM me and I'll make sure that I make amends. I'm still new to this area. I'm a new Rotarian, by the way, just 1 year old. Clock, clock, clock. Abi, how do the Gen Zs do it? Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Please let's invite our members to join. We're waiting for the DG to join us. Once the DG joins, we're going to start. But as we do that, I can't really even take Rotary Grace until the DG joins us. I know that it just left the Zone 4 workshop that they are having. Okay, I see another comment. Using personal account to collect donation. That one is a no-no. I don't need to be a tax guru. Using personal account to collect donation is a no-no. And you see that our BVN, NIN, everything is synchronized. Everything is synchronized. So there is nowhere we can. Okay. Thank you so much for muting Rotarian Muhammad Saka. Okay. I'm waiting for questions. We want to answer your questions. This is not a training at you. It's a training for you so that you can succeed and do great things in 2026. We want you to win in 2026, and that's why we are doing what we're doing. So if you're excited to be here, let me try and see if we can get the DG. Ma, any response from the DG? Let's see.
This is
Oops. I beg your pardon. Trying to get the DG to see if he's joining.
let me call. I'm calling him again.
Okay.
He's busy. His line is busy. I think you're trying to get him to.
Yes. Okay. Women in Rotary, for some of us that are women or our wives that are Rotarian, that are women that are not members of Women in Rotary, can I tell you this? We are 330 strong. 330 strong. Please let us share this invite with our friends to get them 313 strong women, and we are doing great things. Okay, I'm still waiting for your responses, everybody. Who has questions? What are the burning things that are concerning you? But I think I can go ahead to introduce you our chair while we wait for. Ma?
Okay. No, not you, my dear.
Can I go ahead to introduce you so that we don't just keep, because it's 15, 17 minutes into the session and we are losing people that are dropping off already. My chair, what's your recommendation? Okay, you're trying to get him. My name is Mercy Georgie Buffet. I prefer to be called MGI, okay? And I'm your host today. I thought we'll have this place packed full, but I know there's another event going on at the moment, so we're still waiting. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Let me go ahead and introduce our chair. She can start. When the DG comes, it will call the house to order because you are here already, but is a very important personality for us to have here. I want to appreciate you for being here tonight, so thank you. Okay, I'd like to introduce the chair for Women in Rotary. Like I mentioned, we are 313 strong. 313 strong. So if you're not a part of the community, please join the community and do not delay. And that being said, her name is past president Adewumi Omolara Akisoya. She's from Rotary Club of Lagos West, a registered nurse and midwife, and a family planner expert. She's an entrepreneur. You can see her. Entrepreneur, importer, and exporter. She is the CEO of Affordable Fashion. Can you see her? If you see her when she was walking, you know that she is a fashionista personified. Okay, an accessory with affordable catering, an event, affordable global foods, and affordable supermarket. She is married to Dr. Lawrence Akinsoya. And by the way, she is two-time Rotary chair. She did the job so well, they told her you must repeat the class. You see, when in Rotary they tell you to repeat, it means that you have done an excellent work. She is a chair of Women in Rotary. Ma, the floor is open to you for your charge.
Yeah, Mr. Nugent.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, my DG.
My
Thank you, ma.
DG. Yay. Exciting. Welcome, the number one, Prince Henry Akinyele, for making it here today. I know today has been a full day for you, sir. So please, let's give some emojis. Let's encourage our DG, the hardworking, the number one united district governor for District 91 11. I'm waiting for those emojis. Let's bring them. Let them come in. Yes, thank you so much, Rotary and Laura. I can't see them. We're not encouraging our DGO. This is not okay. This is not okay. I'm waiting for them emojis. Let them come in. Let them come in, please. Where are them emojis? My DG. Well done, sir. You are celebrated. Highly celebrated. And well done for the beautiful work you are doing. Permit me to introduce the number one citizen of District 9111. Is none other than the royalty, Prince Henry Olubowale Akinyele, the district governor for 2025 to 2026. And by the way, for some of you that might not know, he is from Rotary Club of Maryland that has produced, I don't know how many DGs, but I know that there's another DG there. Rotarian Prince Henry's journey into Rotary has spanned over 30 years. His sojourn began in the early 90s. How old was I? I'm sure I was still a child. As a member of the Rotary Club of Ikosi, where he served as president from 1996 to 1997. He was also an active member of the Rotaract Club of University of Ilorin. That's an award-winning university, by the way, in case you do not know. During his university days, Prince Henry's passion for growth and development of Rotary has led him to play pivotal role as the founding members of Rotary Club of Maryland. So that's a charter member of Rotary Club of Maryland in Ikeja. In 2001, the first generation of Rotary Club in the District 9110, that's 9110 that we formerly knew it before redistricting, with over 20 Rotaractors, other 20 Rotaractors. Prince Henry's passion for growth of his club is indescribable. It means that it's palpable. You can touch it, you can taste it. It remains the only member who has consistently, and this is critical, consistently served as a board member for 10 consecutive years. He was the president of the club in 2006 to 2007. And by the way, please can you mute yourself? Prince Henry's debut at the district dates back to 2009, when he served as the secretary to the New Generation Committee and organized a well-attended youth summit. Please, I want to see some emojis. He has since served as a member, chairman, subcommittee, vice chair, chairman, and resource person to several district committees. Few of the positions are namely, please pay attention, Chair Ethics Committee 2010 to 2011, Chair West Africa Project Fair Committee 2012 to 2013, Assistant Governor 2013 to 2014, And 2016 to 2018, he served as a chair, presidential citation. Please permit me to mute everyone. Please, let me just mute everyone so that way nobody unmute. My DJ, I will unmute you. Please accept the unmute, please. I've asked you to unmute, sir. Please unmute once the time is up. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. I thank you so much. Hello?
I didn't finish your citation, but it's okay. You have the floor.
Oh, sorry about that. That's
Okay.
That's all right.
I just wanted to mute everyone. So he graduated and he graduated as a faculty member of the Rotary Leadership Institute, the Nigerian editor of Rotary Leadership Institute Nigeria, and facilitated many training and learning across. Because of time, I'm going to skip. Professionally, Prince Henry is a successful businessman with interest in printing, services, logistics, hospitality. He's the managing director and chief executive officer for Chebi Ventures, a renowned printing outfit, Precise Promotion Limited, a corporate branding and event management firm, and Dino 4 Lounge, an hotel. I think we need to check in there. Overall, Prince Henry is a direct prince of Ifore community in Ondo Kingdom. He is married to is married, a specialist in special education needs, and proprietress of Bumblebee. Wow, I didn't know that. I said that last time. August State. She is also a Rotarian major donor, Rotary Foundation major donor, and they are blessed with 2 beautiful children. Both of the children, by the way, are Paul Harris Fellow. My DG, the virtual floor is all yours. Your camera is a bit tilted, so we're not going to be seeing you properly, sir. Fantastic. No, it's tilted the other way now. Okay, better. Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much. The floor is yours, my DG. Okay, we can't hear you. Let me unmute you again. Can you unmute yourself, sir? Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Clearly, and we can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Richard. And Messi. Yes, good afternoon, my fellow Rotarians. Ever dynamic, ever resourceful members of the Women in Rotary of our District 9111. I especially want to recognize the chairman of this group that has been doing so much in our district. I recognize you, Past President Omalara Kisaya. Thank you so much. I don't have the list of everyone here, but I especially recognize all district leaders, all presidents, all united presidents, all assistant governors, and all Rotarians that are here with us this afternoon on this webinar. It is indeed my pleasure to call this webinar to order and to discuss about the topic that is now very dear to our hearts, which is the tax matters. And we all have heard of this significant change in the 4 transformative laws now that has just been introduced. And I think this is just the right time for us to have, if not full, but at least knowledge about what this law is all about so that we don't fall prey of it. So it is indeed my pleasure to call this event to order. And I thank you very much, the organizers of this particular program. I want to say a very big thank you. And of course, for those other programs you've had and the others lined up for the rest of the Rotary year, I will always say thank you. I will always say this. I can see significantly the role women have been playing as regards the growth and development of the districts. And this is not taken for granted at any time. So I want to please say thank you once again to you for all you do. And I look forward to your future support. So please kindly enjoy this webinar. Permit me to be inactive as you proceed. You all are aware that we have an engagement for tomorrow, the Rotary Foundation fundraising dinner and dance. And I hope that all of you have ironed your dresses, to make tomorrow another epoch event in our district. So there are quite a lot of meetings ongoing, apart from the summit of the Zone 4 that is also ongoing. So permit me to be inactive. I'm going to be on, but I may be inactive. So I wish you the very best as we progress in this discussion. Thank you. And I especially thank our guest speaker as well. It is an honor to have you. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you so much, my DG. I'll hand the floor over to Women in Rotary Chair. I've rightly introduced you, Ma. Please, you have the virtual floor before I call on our guests to start the session. Ma, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Okay, let me unmute you. Beg your pardon. Please unmute. Accept. Okay.
All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. I want to say a very beautiful evening to each and every one of us on this webinar. It's been a pleasure to have you on. I want to say a very big thank you to our guest speaker who has found time out of his busy schedule to be part of this program. Thank you very much, sir. And for all women and friends of Rotary on this platform, because it's not just Rotarians that are on this platform. We have friends from around the world that are joining, and more people are going to join too. Thank you very much for being on board, and I'm sure and I pray that we will learn one or two things about tax coming this 2026, as we've been promised that the ombudsman is coming our way. So let's listen carefully to the speaker, and let's keep our questions. Let's pen it down. So when it is time for questions, we can throw in our questions and receive a very fruitful answers, so that we know how to work towards our tax in 2026. Thank you all for coming on board, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, my beautiful, delectable Women in Rotary two-time chair. Please, can I have our guest today to just put on his video so that I can actually pin you as I read your bio? Can you on your video? And I've sent you request to unmute yourself. Mr. Chijoke Odo. Okay, fine. I can see that you're muted, but can you turn your video on, please?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon,
Hi.
BG.
Wow.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
Welcome to Rotary
very busy Friday.
9111. So, Mr. Chijoke Odo is actually an indirect tax practice professional. Is a partner with Indirect Tax Practice in Lagos, West Africa. He is a tax advisor with over 15 years of professional services experience drawn from several industry and jurisdiction. He is a partner and the West Africa Global Trade Advisor, a leader at Deloitte African Members Firm. Chijoke is primarily responsible for designing, implementing strategy for business looking to navigating the trading environment in West Africa. In this role, is advise businesses on duty to optimize optimizing strategy as well as compliance and government incentive, which is brilliant. Well done. He is also proficient with regional trade regulation. I mean, this is an all-round experience from our guest speaker today. Trade regulation and regularly assist business to resolve custom dispute. His clientele includes public sector agency as well as businesses in manufacturing, automation, consumer technology, and telecommunication industry. Over the years, Chijoke has also developed deep technical knowledge and experience in delivering composite tax solution involving business tax, international tax, and personal income tax, and immigration tax matters. Chijoke has outstanding analytical. The way you're even holding your mind, it shows holding your hand to your jaw, Mr. Chijoke. It shows that you have an outstanding analytical and problem-solving skills with exceptional communication and facilitation skills, good relationship management skills, good interpersonal skills, exceptional work ethics, and strong leadership capability. He has written several thought leadership articles and speaks regularly at external workshop and events across the African continent. Mr. Chijoke, welcome to Rotary District 9111. The virtual floor is all yours. Please take us away to a beautiful 2026 understanding of tax regulation. I remain your compare, Mercy Georgie Buffet, preferred to be called Mercy MGI. The floor is yours, and you have
Thank
the
you.
presentation
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's taking us a while to get here, but we are here now. I see a number of participants have come up. I took note of the questions or the concerns that members had, and then maybe at the end of the session we can address them. If my 30 minutes, let me try and do this in 30 minutes, does not address all the questions or the concerns that you have. I have a deck which I will share now. So please let me know if you can see it or when you can see it.
We can see it, yeah.
You can, right?
Clearly.
Okay. So this is District 9111, correct?
Yes, please.
Excellent. So I think tax has now become a very important subject and very popular subject now. It wasn't like this 2 years ago or last year. But I think even now, even the what you can call the common man, okay, and I say that with every sense of respect. So your regular individual who is hustling and bustling on the streets of Nigeria, probably have never really felt or understood what tax was. Okay. I think for the average Nigerian, it was always a case of maybe you see tax being collected where you are in a bus, okay, or you're in a market, or you're in a stall and you see people with vest come to your store, to your bus driver, or to your market to collect fees. Okay. For an employee, you get a sense that taxes are being deducted. Okay, so if you're not a very vigilant employee, you just come into an organization, you hear that you're being paid 1,000 naira, and that's it. At the end of the year, at the end of the month, you expect to be paid 1,000 naira. I'm not sure a lot of employees appreciate that taxes and other things were deducted in arriving at that 1,000 naira. Okay. The other time you connect with taxes is maybe when you go to a grocery store, and you look at your receipts, or you go to a restaurant and you look at your receipts and you see value-added tax and you see consumption tax. Okay. So the vast majority of Nigerians did not understand taxation. Okay. What tax do not truly understand taxation apart from the examples I've given. And I think it's important that tax has become an important subject. Okay. In some of the countries where we have our uncles or our aunts or our brothers or our sisters or our daughters and sons, especially in the developed countries, you hear them talk about tax a lot, but we don't connect because back home, a lot of us can't connect with it. In those jurisdictions, tax is a big deal because of the objectives of taxation. Okay. And maybe we should go back to the objectives of taxation. Governments around the world use tax or collect tax because they need to fund infrastructure, they need to fund public health care, they need to fund public education, and all the other things that you expect the government to do for you. Okay. In most of those jurisdictions, that is government's primary source of revenue. And when I say government here, I mean not just federal government, I mean federal, state, and your local government. That is their primary source of revenue. And so if they don't collect those taxes, and they don't collect those taxes optimally and efficiently, they cannot provide the roads, they cannot provide the schools, they cannot provide the hospitals. For those of us who have these relations I talked about earlier, you would notice that in those jurisdictions, or for those of us who have gone there, you see how things are being done. Okay, roads are smooth. If there is a pothole, roads are immediately filled. Kids in those countries go to school free of charge until they get to certain levels where the government can't fund it anymore, can't fund free education anymore. The healthcare is free in those countries until a certain level, or for certain types of diagnosis that you need to pay out of pocket. And so you see tax being a very, very important subject there because everybody has to part with that money. Okay. Now, what does that also do is that those individuals in those countries are very, 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 very interested in what their government does because it's their hard-earned money that government collects. Culturally, this has not been the case in Nigeria. Okay. So if these folks don't take our money, then I can care less about what they do. So how has government funded, this public infrastructure, healthcare, education, providing social amenities is through allocation. So largely oil and gas. Okay. And so tax is helpful in funding governments. The other way where tax is helpful in shaping behavior. Okay. And you will see it in certain things, like if government doesn't want you to smoke cigarettes anymore, government increases the tax on cigarettes. Very, very high taxes on cigarettes, as an example. If government don't want you to drink anymore, they increase, the tax on alcohol. Okay. If government wants people to invest in a particular sector, because they believe that, for instance, the government believes that Nigeria has, plenty commodities or plenty minerals in a certain sector, and we believe that we can convert those commodities to things and generate jobs, the government can, adjust the tax policy around that sector. So it's about getting money to fund social infrastructure and changing behavior. And so because these things have not been there, tax is now so popular because it just shows that many people have not been paying tax and many people have not been conversant with taxation. So I think it's important that, we put that there around in bringing back tax back to our consciousness. So if you don't take anything away from this session, at least hopefully this first 5 minutes has pretty much, brought it home in terms of the need of why tax, and why it is important that it's a front and center conversation. Now let's come back to the new tax laws. Why has the government of the day decided to amend the new tax laws? Okay. And I'll just give you a couple of examples, a couple of reasons. A lot of our laws in Nigeria as it concerns tax are old. The Stamp Duty Tax Act being used today was promulgated in 1939 before independence. And so the question is, why do we want to continue using a legislation that is that old to remember what I said about what tax can do? Tax can be used to what? To influence behavior and collect money. So the stamp duty law in 1939, can you imagine how much the government would have been collecting on stamp duties back in those days? Kobo, okay? There are lots of kobo in that legislation. And of course, you know that no matter how much kobo the government collects, you can't use that money to do all those things that government collects tax for. And if it's to influence behavior, I don't think 20 kobo or 10 kobo or 5 kobo will influence your behavior. Right? So it's important that government brings those laws, okay, from 1939 to 2026. So that when they collect stamp duty, as an example, the amount of stamp duty collected is a reflection of the cost of funding social amenities. Okay? The cost of stamp duty, okay, in terms of being charged on individuals or corporates, is weighty enough to be able to influence your behavior around whether to get involved in those activities that will trigger the imposition of stamp duty. Okay? And I can talk about several other legislations that maybe not as old as the Stamp Duties Act, but also old because, if you think about where we are now, think about where we were 20 years ago in terms of the kind of things that we use today. A typical example is the digital economy. Okay. Lots of things are being done online today. 10 years ago, a lot of us would have had to go to the bank, okay, to do our transactions. There are lots of queues at the banks, but now lots of the banks are empty. Why? Because banking transactions have been moved to the digital space. Okay. So if that is the case, if behavior has changed in terms of, how we interact with our banks, then you can imagine that whatever tax law was there at that time when a lot of us were going to queue might have been influencing our behavior about whether or not to go to the bank and about what the banks were doing around employing a lot more people to be at the front desk. So behavior has changed, the economy has changed. And so it's important that the tax laws also change with the times that we are in currently. Okay? So it's important as an example. A lot of the tax laws we had at that time, or we have even now, because not even now, because we are talking about the current legislation that we're using to impose taxes and influence behavior. A lot of those tax laws do not encourage investment in the country. Okay? So investors want to invest, and true life example, true life stories. Okay, almost every time there's a board sitting somewhere in the US or somewhere in Germany or somewhere in China, somewhere in India or somewhere in Johannesburg, they have $20 million, $50 million, $100 million, $500 million. Yeah. They want to invest. They want to take that money and invest in a country. And you know that there are almost 200 countries in the world. Okay. And when an investor wants to put money somewhere, they want to put money in a place where they will get the most return. Okay, investors have no emotions. And if you had your own money, I'm not sure you'll be emotional about where you keep that money. So if for all of us in this room now, if we had $10 million inheritance, and you want to make sure that you grow that money and leave for your children, I think that you would want to put that money in a place that will give you the most return, whether or not that place is Nigeria. If you hear that Haiti is the best place that you can put your money in because they give the best returns, okay, I think all of us here will take that $10 million and send it to Haiti. So investors don't use emotions to make decisions. Now, one of the things investors look out for when putting money somewhere is the business climate. And a big part of the business climate is how much taxes are collected when I generate profit, and how is the tax collected. And we're speaking to administration. It's not okay for me to generate 100% return if I bring the money to Nigeria, but 90% of that return is wiped out by tax, or wiped out by the tax landscape, or wiped out by the laws not being clear around how taxes are being administered. So much so that I'm spending so much money, and my return from 100% return, pure return, pure profit, turns to 1 naira, from 100% to 1% because of taxes. So it was important that, the tax regime is made friendly and easy for businesses, investors particularly, to understand. Okay? It was also important to recalibrate the entire tax landscape because government was not collecting enough from tax. Remember what I said when we started? A lot of governments around the world have tax as their primarily source of funds. And so if Nigeria is collecting, say, 10% of GDP, I think it has moved to about 11, 12% of GDP, and the rest of the world is collecting 40-something percent, 30-something percent, 50-something percent of their GDP. In those countries, you see skyscrapers, you see huge roads, you see rail infrastructure. They are funding their schools, funding their hospitals for their people. When you're just collecting 10, 11% of your GDP, how much money can you channel back to the people? We can have a separate conversation about what the government is using the money for, but it's important for the government to say we need to collect as much money as we can from the economy. And this is not to say we want to start taxing people more, but it is a case of government realizing that several people do not pay tax. And if they pay tax, they don't pay tax sufficiently. So you earn 100 billion naira and you only pay tax of 1 million naira. And I can tell you that there are lots of people, some of us in this room, who are earning so much money, briefcase businesses, who are not paying tax at all. And if you're paying taxes, you're paying tax because LRS or Ogun State Internal Revenue Service or Rivers State Internal Revenue Service or FCT IRS, wherever you live, whatever state you live, has just met you somewhere and, after negotiating, you negotiated something of, say, 20,000 naira, and they will be happy to collect 20,000 naira and collect nothing. But in actual fact, you made 100 billion naira briefcase business. So it's a case of ensuring that everybody who is benefiting from the roads and the bridges and the schools and every other thing that you think government is providing to you, again, it's a separate conversation in Nigeria about what government is doing. Okay? But to ensure that we all can collect, the government can collect a fair share of tax, because I don't think it's fair that Chijioke Odo in my organization, I'm paying tax today at about 19%. Okay? And maybe I'm earning 10 million naira. But there is somebody who is in this room today who is earning 100 million naira and paying tax of 1%. We can't compete, and it's not fair. I'm a legitimate person. I'm paying the right amount of tax based off of what I'm doing, and somebody is doing the same thing and paying less. The person has an advantage over me. And the government, frankly, don't want to incentivize those people because those guys are going to make more money. First of all, they're going to chase me out of the market. because I simply can't compete, because out of the 10 naira I make, I pay how much? 19%. This person earns 100 and pays 1%. The person is going to be able to crash his prices because he has a lot of money, he can chase me out of the market. Guess what? He chases me out of the market and still don't pay tax. But I earn 10 million naira and government collects 19%. This person is currently earning 100 million, pay 1%, and has enough money to price me out of the market. I go out of the market, government loses that 19% of 10 million naira, and that person who's earning 100 million naira and paid only 1% now starts earning 200 million naira and still paying 1%. Government loses. So several examples around reasons why governments had to bring in the new tax laws. Okay. Also to also give visibility, maybe I'll stop at that one. Also to give visibility to the tax administrators so that they identify those of us who are not paying tax. Because there are many Nigerians who don't pay tax. So it's about how do we ensure that we bring our tax system to where to the standard, okay, such that it can encourage investments, it can influence the right behavior, okay, and it can fund the government so that the government can provide the social amenities. Okay, so that is why we had to bring in the new tax laws. And what the government has done, federal government has done, is to consolidate all federally legislated taxes. Okay, so nothing has happened to taxes that were promulgated by the state governments or the local governments. Nothing has happened to those ones. They are still the same. Okay, what the federal government has done is all the tax laws that are legislated by the National Assembly, okay, we want to not only, make them, give them the teeth to be able to, extract certain amounts of money and influence right behavior, but we want to consolidate them. So you will see, or you'd have heard that 12 different legislations were repealed, 12 of them repealed. The National Assembly now went to 15 other legislations, picked out the tax provisions in those legislations. So much so that an investor doesn't have to look at 27 legislations to know what tax I'm supposed to pay and how I'm supposed to pay the tax. So they repealed those 12, removed the tax provisions in those 15, and now created only four, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of tax legislation, such that an investor who wants to understand the tax system in Nigeria as promulgated by the federal government, by the National Assembly, will only need to go to 4 pieces of legislation. So that makes life easy for everybody. Okay? And I can tell you how I practice tax. And I know that today, again, until we get to the end of the year, there are several questions we get from businesses, and you're looking helter-skelter, having several books, okay, having to find out, okay, where is it in the tax law? What tax law covers this particular activity? Okay, so if I'm struggling, even though it's easier for me because that's all I do on a day-to-day basis, how much more, the uneducated tax person, okay, find it, how they find it, how easy would they find it to understand the tax system? And ignorance is not an excuse. What the tax law does that some of us might not like is what I have put here, okay, which is a lot of people will not like these tax laws because it forces mandatory disclosure. So for financial institutions now, certain transactions now have to be disclosed with the tax authority. Okay, so before, you remember, for those of us who are close to the financial services institutions, you hear that they have to disclose that information in the case of the banks to the CBN, in the case of insurance companies to NICOM. Yeah, so for the banks, certain types of transactions, you must report it. especially if you get inflows to a certain level. You must report to the CBN. Now, the new laws are saying, no, it's not only CBN, we also want you to report to us. So for those of us who are getting inflows and not paying any tax, it's bad news for you because all those inflows are now going to be heading as they come, and they're all now going to be heading to the tax authorities. So they're going to have an information of how much money you received in a year. Okay. Data for tax. Let me see level playing field for businesses who are gaining an advantage over some because they were able to play the system and the others were not able to play the system. Or the tax laws were so designed that I did not have to pay tax, but the other person who is identical to me had to pay tax, and therefore had an advantage over that person. It's gone. A typical example is, and there are several examples, but maybe one is you have businesses in the free trade zone who are doing business and selling to the Nigerian custom territory, not paying tax, and you had a similar organization in the custom territory doing the same business and selling to that custom territory and paying tax. So there was no level playing field. I'll give you another example. You had people, and I had this question earlier on, doing the exact same business, but because I have incorporated as a limited liability company, I pay 30% on my profits. Yeah, I pay 30% of my profits. If I choose not to incorporate, I pay a maximum of 19%. So I'd rather not incorporate my company and continue being the briefcase business and co or enterprises or ventures and pay a maximum of 19%. And that's where you hear that the tax rates and the tax bands have increased, and the tax rate, highest tax rate now is now 25%. And you would have heard that under the new tax law, the president can reduce the corporate tax rate from 30% to 25%, equalizing, the tax payout for either a corporate or an unincorporated entity. Okay, you would also see some equalization of the rates for trading income and the rates for gains. Today, capital gains is 10%. Okay, tax on capital gains is 10%. And tax on trading income is 30%. Now, from 1 January 2026, the tax on capital gains is going to be 30% as well. Okay, so if you are smart enough to say if you are smart enough today to move what you earn into capital gains, you pay only 10% on that gain. Okay, whereas somebody who is not smart enough will be paying 30% while you're paying 10%. Those days of being smart by half is gone. So everyone now is going to pay 30% on either trading income or gains. Rationalizing incentives is also important to ensure that only those who deserve the incentives are given. And there are several businesses there. And I remember some conversations we used to have at NIPC, where I remember the secretary told us one time that there are businesses who they have caught. They will go and ask for tax holiday. They will say they're a new company and they're investing 200 billion naira in the country and they're manufacturing toothpick, as an example. Okay, these are all examples. The government gives them 5 years tax holiday. Guess what they do after the 5 years? They close that company, shut down the company, and the same promoters of that company will go and incorporate a new entity and use that new entity to go and apply for tax holiday. And these guys have done it 3 times, and they're competing in the same markets as people, compliant businesses who got the 5 years and continue their business and started paying tax. These ones got tax holiday, finished, shut it down, got another tax holiday, finished, shut it down, and on and on. And this was pervasive. So how does government collect tax? How does government encourage a compliant business? There are now going to be stiffer penalties for non-compliance. So if you don't comply, stiffer penalties. Multiple taxation is gone. So the area where you have multiple agencies coming at you and using that to generate wealth for themselves is gone. There is now going to be interagency cooperation, so much so that it is difficult for you to hide because this agency does not talk to this agency. Therefore, you can report 100 naira to this agency, report 200 naira to this agency, report 50 naira to the third agency because they don't talk to one another. And of course, the number that you're reporting is dependent on what number benefits you. Okay? And of course, there's tax for new business models. So 10 years ago, digital assets, trading in digital currency, digital assets was not very popular. And you can imagine the laws at that time did not have provisions to tax those type of businesses. But you agree that over the last couple of years, those kind of businesses have exploded and expanded, and almost everything is not almost everything, but there is now a huge market. So, for instance, the betting industry is huge. Social media has exploded, and all the other business models you have seen today that did not exist 10 years ago, the government needs to find a way to tax them. Because the fact that there's an innovation doesn't mean that innovation should not be taxed. So if you fall within all these categories, okay, it's going to be difficult for you, to breathe in the new tax dispensation. Okay. But there's also lots of good news. Yeah. So if it's not bad. In fact, I think there's more good than bad. I think for those who will see the tax laws as bad, um, essentially, a number of compliant businesses and good businesses, will find one or two issues, not one or two, but some issues with the new tax law. But vast majority of Nigerians will find a lot of good in the new tax laws. Okay. So small companies, as an example, you're a small company, you don't pay tax on, and small company is defined as if you don't 100 million naira revenue threshold, your revenues are less than 100 million, fixed assets less than 250 million, you're a small company, you don't pay tax on profits. Okay. The compliance burden for small companies are a lot more reduced. If you go to VAT as an example, maybe some of us here might not be able to connect with it, but for large corporates will breathe a huge sigh of relief because for refunds, when you have VAT refunds, it's now easy for them to get it. If they apply for a VAT refund, they get it in 30 days. Currently, if you apply for a refund, some companies don't get it for 4 years. And I'm talking about VAT amounts running into billions of naira, which are legitimate monies due to you. You apply to the government, and in 4 years, you have not gotten that money back. Can you imagine what a business will use 4 billion or 5 billion to do? You invest that money into your business and grow that business, but that money is still with the government. So for large corporates, you apply for a refund, you get it in 30 days. For large corporates, impute VAT recoverability is a thing. Okay, so for large corporates, what they buy, they also buy like we buy, and they sell. What's currently happening is that a lot of what they buy, they cannot recover the VAT that they pay. Now, the government has said all the VAT that you incur on purchases, you can recover it from your output VAT, which is wonderful news. For capital gains, share disposals, there are lots of exemptions on share disposal. So if your share disposals do not exceed 150 million naira with the gains of 10 million naira, you don't pay tax. For loss of employment, if for some reason you lose your job and your employer pays you 50 million naira and below, there is no tax on that money. Okay? For large companies, there's no more minimum tax. Currently, if you're a large company and you declare a loss, government will ask you to pay minimum tax. But government is saying, I don't want to collect minimum tax anymore because the money I'm collecting from you is your capital. Audits are going to be reduced for compliant businesses. So if you're compliant businesses, you don't have to be audited round the clock. Okay? Labeled startups, there's exemptions for labeled startups, especially when you dispose of them. Economic development tax credits are now going to be given for certain sectors, investment in certain sectors. For personal income is now a progressive tax, and I tell you that most of us who earn 21 million naira and below will see no tax increase. So if your total income, for instance, from employment, does not go above 21 million naira, there will be no additional tax. No additional tax. Only those who are doing above 21, 22 million we'll now begin to see progressive tax increases. Okay, but as you see, many countries, they want to tax the rich a lot more than middle class to lower class. Of course, minimum wage exception. So if you're earning minimum wage, no tax. And I think good news for government is that with all these things, with the data that's going to be shared to them, they're going to be able to generate more revenues, that they will use to fund social infrastructure. So I mean, just wanting to leave it there. I mean, when it comes to the new tax laws, there's a lot to unpack depending on your unique circumstance. Are you an individual? Are you a business? Are you a corporate? You're incorporated entity? What industry do you play in? There are lots of things to unpack, but I think it's important to just get a flavor of what the new tax law, what the new taxes are saying. But I think what is most important that we all do, what we're doing today, we're starting now, which is understanding what is to come. And one of the things that is important you understand is going to be very, very difficult for you to escape tax. Okay, a lot more difficult. So unless the tax authority decides not to do a proper job, then you escape tax. But I can tell you, the tax authorities are now going to have access to so much information about every single Nigerian. Okay, so as long as they have the capacity, which now you don't even need to employ people. Okay, you can use technology now, to get a quick summary of a profile of every single individual around how much taxes should they be paying based off of all the information you have received from all the various sources. It's going to be very, 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 very difficult to escape tax. So if you are not familiar with your tax profile before, you need to get familiar with your tax profile. If you do not have a tax advisor before, you need to get a tax advisor, okay, to help you make sense of what is coming. You need to start planning early. Where you need to incorporate an entity, you do. Where you need to not incorporate, you do. Where you need to start keeping proper records, you do. Okay. Again, I want to be clear. In certain fora, when I've talked about, the banks now sending information about inflows, people have said, oh, does that mean that every inflow they're going to tax me? No. But it's important that the banks have access to that information. Remember, inflows can be your brother who has sent you money to help with a project in the village. The tax authority will assume that entire 40 million naira is income, and they would write you a simple letter to say, I've seen your tax return. You paid only 1,000 naira. But I can see that you received 40 million naira. Can you explain why I should not assess you more than the 1,000 naira that you paid? So it's for you to now go back to them to say, oh, yes, truly 40 million naira entered my account, but that 40 million was money for a project. It's not an income to me. My brother sent it to me, or my sister sent it to me to help with a project in the village. Okay? But now the taxman has that information. Before, the taxman had no information. So when you give them 1,000 naira, they'll say, thank you very much. Okay? So having that in mind, have a proper record of your income, of what you do. Okay? Almost everything now is going to be taxable. Even if you're trading digital assets, it's going to be taxable. Those incomes that you thought you could hide is going to be very difficult to hide because everybody's going to be sharing data. And so early planning is important. Building your capacity is important, like you're doing now. Getting the right support and consultation is important. And ultimately, map out what you're going to be doing going forward. So let me stop there and take questions, and then hopefully, you have a better understanding of what is to come. Thank you.
Mr. Odo, thank you so much for the session. Can you unmute?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So can I just quickly ask everybody that is on the call, what are your takeaway? I just saw in our group now, this webinar is so educating. I'd like to get, okay, it's time to unmute everybody, but if you have any question, please raise your hand so that it can respond to your question. We should be out of here in the next 16 minutes. Please don't wait after. If you have your question, raise your hand now. Okay. Please, can we first give him some emoji? Thank you so much for prompting that. Thank you for the clap. Let's appreciate our coach, our tax facilitator. He didn't speak a lot of language that we did not understand. Okay, there's a question from Sandra. Please, if you have any question you'd like to respond, you'd like to ask directly, we'll give room for you. Don't ask when the time is up. Please ask now so you can get the right answers as quickly as possible. But there's a question for you in the chat. Sandra is saying, Rotarian Sandra, how about stable food business like bakery? She's a beautiful baker, by the way, my own very own Sandra. And thank you so much, great presentation. But I'm actually interested. What is one thing that you've taken away from today that you did not know before? I'd like to see it in the chat. What is one thing that you have taken away from this session? It's so important to actually find out from you. What is one thing you have learned? What is one takeaway that you have taken away from this experience by women in Rotary? I'd like to read it in the chat. Please, what is one thing you have taken away from this experience? What is one thing? It's important that we demonstrate that to our trainer. What is one thing you have taken away? Thank you so much, Chris. Has tax been demystified for you? Are you clearer? What is one thing that you have taken away? It's important that I hear your feedback or I read it out. And if you have any question, please raise your hand. Okay, I see Laura with the hands raised. But Laura, okay, fantastic. Rotarian Mohammed Sakas says that, what's the effect of the new tax regime on company registration against limited? You have two questions already. Okay. So Rotarian Olubenga Ogunbiyi says planning to face the economic system in 2026. Thank you. I'd like to hear what is your first thing, what your takeaways are. Fantastic. Okay. I see Rotarian Akan saying one thing I'm taking home is that the facilitator, I beg your pardon, and it's okay. Facilitator said we can avoid to run away from new tax law. We can't afford to run away. We cannot. And Richard and Sandra is saying try as much as possible to set our book straight. Yes, at least that's one thing I know I'm taking away. Sorry, we can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it. You cannot. Now, you have two questions, and I'd like to hear what Rotarian Laura is going to ask. Then you can now take the two in the chat. Please, any more takeaways from you? I'd like to read more. What are your takeaways from today's class? What are your takeaways? Okay, Rotarian Folashade Akisanya is saying, I have always paid my tax through my employer, but it's clear now that the government can exercise their legal right on tax and it's not avoidable. Brilliant. Toastmaster Rotarian Laura, please, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Thank you.
All right. Good evening, and thank you very much to the facilitator. There was something you said about that the new tax laws seek to legislate taxes at the federal level, and that nothing has happened to the taxes legislated at the state level or administered at the state level. I think this is not exactly what I thought I heard before now. So I'm wondering what happens to payee, because I mean, if you're I think one of the elements that I heard was that if your personal income is below a certain level, you're not going to be paying tax. So I think, and automatically the payee will be affected, and it is the states that collect the payee. Or is there anything different? From what I know, the payee, even if you're an incorporated entity, you still, your employees' taxes will be remitted or are usually remitted at the state level. Are you saying there's no change to payee structure at the state level? I just want to understand. And please, my initial question about what happens to the NGOs has still not been answered. So I'll be glad if those are addressed. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Let me start with the last one. Federally legislated taxes, personal income tax is federally legislated, but administered by the states. Okay. So as it concerns PAYE or anything that has to do with taxation of individuals, employment taxes, the laws are handed down by the federal government, handed down by the National Assembly. Yeah. But in those laws, it is stated there that taxes shall be collected, okay, and are for the benefits of the states. Okay. What I'm saying here now is remember, there are some laws that are made by the State House of Assemblies. Okay, because the Constitution has given them the powers to make those laws. So I'm saying that this new Reform Act does not affect any tax that has been made by a State House of Assembly, because that State House of Assembly has the powers to make laws that impose those taxes. So PAYE will continue. So PAYE, to the extent that the new laws has amended laws for personal income tax, employee taxes, that those new provisions will be administered by, in Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. And that is why there are new tax rates and there are new bans that will be implemented by LIRS from January. I don't know, does that help?
Yes, absolutely, it does. Thank
Great.
you.
Now, so the first question around NGOs. Okay. The question here is, are NGOs exempted from paying tax? The answer is yes, NGOs are exempted from paying tax. Okay. As long as they have been, as long as they meet the requirements. Okay, so if you look at the new tax laws around what you can call humanitarian services and all those other things, yeah, to the extent that what you do falls within that definition of what you're doing, then of course the new laws has given some incentive for associations, organizations that are involved in such activities. But one needs to be careful to check and see if what I do fall within the ambit of what you can call provision of humanitarian services, okay, community service and all those other things, and what is not. Because what we have seen in practice is that some people call themselves NGOs, but they are not NGOs. They register as NGOs, but they're not NGOs. And again, remember what I said from the very beginning, government is trying to do what? Government is trying to influence behavior. Okay, so you cannot be doing business, okay, and making money and not paying tax because you have called yourself an NGO. Whereas there is somebody who is doing the exact same business, but because they haven't called themselves an NGO, they are paying tax. It's not fair competition. Someone talked about staple food. You see that when it comes to how to encouraging and incentivizing, well, not necessarily encouraging and incentivizing, is around protecting the consumers. So lots of what you could call staple food are VAT exempt. So if you are buying processed corned beef, okay, it's processed. There's been some input and activity and conversion and things like that into that, then that is not staple food for which government should incentivize, should reduce the costs, okay, by removing VAT from it. But your raw meats, as an example, okay, your gari, your bread, all those staple water, flour, starch, all those things are exempt from VAT. Okay, so if you think about it, okay, and think about what government is putting tax on and what government is not putting tax on, you will see that there is usually an objective, okay, in terms of why should I include VAT and why shouldn't I? Okay, if you start putting VAT on what the average Nigerian takes, and that increases the cost of those products, then it means that you're not providing welfare for the people, okay, because they can't feed. I don't know if that helps. But on your NGO, I mean, to get to the bottom of, okay, how do you deal with that? I mean, that is a separate conversation. I suggest you get an advisor who would help you unpack what you're really doing. And but that is one area that the FRS has complained bitterly about how people are abusing the NGO system, okay, and claiming to be doing NGO, whereas they are just doing business.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Odo, for those brilliant questions. Response. There are still some questions. What will citizens enjoy from tax taken from our income by the government? Will the tax regulation affect individual accounts as well? But please let me just permit me to recognize a few people that have joined us. I know we don't have much time. I see my past president, Favor Madu, here. My DG is still on the call. I see my past president and our assistant governor, Ibironke, Rotary Ibironke Ogun Alaba. I see my DS is on the call, Mr. Rotarian Michael F. Young James. I celebrate you. I see our district Reverend Mrs. Kukoyi, our past DG governor's wife. I celebrate you for being on the call. Omole Golden, you are representing. I feel so happy to see you all here. Maybell, I see you all. Thank you so much for joining. My members that have come from Omole Golden, I celebrate you. You are highly recognized. Please, if I didn't recognize you properly, you can send me a DM. I see my sister, my friend, Boluwatiwi Ayo or Baleke. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I appreciate you. Please, you have more questions.
Thank you for having me.
Rotarian Sandra is asking, will the tax regulation affect individual accounts as well? Because some people use their... Okay, I see you already nodding to the question. Because I have some goods. Okay. Now, PP Adisa Tajuddin is asking Olawale from Rotary Club Ikpaja New Dawn. Is there going to be certificate from IRS or generated by agent of IRS, I think? Do you care to respond to that question?
What kind of certificate is talking about? Maybe if you can unmute.
Can you unmute to get the clarification for the question you're asking, please?
Thank you, my coordinator.
If you
My
can
DG,
unmute, and there were...
I've already
Yes.
unmuted myself. My DG, the fellow Rotarians, like the other time, they
You have
always
already
give us
what?
a copy.
What? Yeah.
In the last time paying your tax in Lagos State, they always give us certificates as normal as ID. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you observed that. So I now want to ask, for paying the tax, are we going to be issuing the same certificate? Is it from the federal or from the state? That's what I'm trying to ask for. Hope you can get me.
No, so I mean,
Did you get this question?
I think I did, but what I would say is when it comes to administration, you would need to defer to the specific regulator who would determine what they are going to give. The National Assembly or the tax maker, lawmakers cannot codify every single thing. There is still some difference to how each of the tax administrators want to administer taxes. So what happens in Lagos might not be what happens in Jigawa, might not be what happens in Enugu, or might happen in Imo State, or what happens in Kwara, or Bauchi, or Sokoto, or Ogun State. So everybody determines how they want to recognize if somebody has paid tax.
Okay.
Lagos State
Okay.
has been ahead of everybody else in terms of digitization. Okay,
Yeah.
so while some people are using paper, Lagos State is using digital cards. So
Yeah.
I leave that to each of the states to determine that. But coordinator, I have just like a minute because I need to jump into another call. But if there are any outstanding questions, I'm happy to take it.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, Olubega.
All right. Thank you very much. I just want to ask. I'm based in Sokoto, and my question is, what are the benefits of those tax certificates? Because over the years, I've been receiving my tax certificate from Sokoto State government. So in coming 2026, what are the benefits, or what can we use those tax certificates for?
Those tax certificates, I mean, it's evidence that you have paid tax, and certain banks will typically ask you for tax certificates to be able to give you to be able to grant you certain services. So I remember back in the days, if you want to get PTA, you have to provide evidence of tax payment, of tax payment. So that your certificate is what you'd have used, as PTA. Yeah, so to get your PTA. So I mean, until when we had the forex crisis. Okay, certain consulates will typically ask you for your evidence of tax payments to the government. Okay, so at least those are the two that come to mind immediately in terms of what you can use those things for. But I mean, more and more from 2026, you will see a lot more dependencies on having a tax card or having a tax certificate. So it's something to keep in mind for all of us as we move ahead in 2026. I see a lot more governments and a lot more establishments asking for evidence of tax payments before they can grant you certain services. There was someone else that asked a question. My question has not been answered. What's the effect? And maybe this is the last question I'll take. Apologies. What's the effect of new tax regime on companies' registration against limited liability companies? So in terms of, and I think I talked about it. So registering an incorporated entity, which is a limited liability company, versus a business name. I said earlier on, business names, today don't pay more than 19% thereabouts. Companies, incorporated entities pay 30% on their profit. So that's a delta of about 11%. Okay. That is changing because the bands have been recalibrated. At least on this side of the unincorporated entities, we will see the incorporated entities potentially see a reduction in the tax rate because now it's 30%. It will still be 30% from January, but there's a provision in the laws that gives the president, the powers to reduce that 30% to 25%. So if and when the president reduces to 25%, you will see an equalization of rates where the delta will be significantly reduced. And there is no significant incentive for being unincorporated to being incorporated. Okay, I hope Mohammed, I hope I've answered your question.
So that would be the last question for tonight. But I always don't want to, whenever I moderate or facilitate any session, for me, I want you to take something away from this experience. The first time I did this, I created a networking session for like 5 minutes. As usual, many people didn't jump on it. I don't want you to just leave this call, you have not met anyone, because people that are going to patronize your business, they are here. People that want to know what you do are here. I want to create a networking session for like 5 minutes. So I'm going to create a breakout session. All you need to do is connect with one person. But before you go into the network session, I want to encourage you, connect via LinkedIn. A lot of us Rotarians are not really leveraging this platform. I think I'm planning to do a training because come 2026, the economy is not economy. You need to leverage digital channels to push who you are. Okay, thank you, Mr. Odo, but it would have been nice for people to get to meet you. So I'm going to create a networking session for 5 minutes, but I'm going to give you 1 minute to all drop your LinkedIn URL. Please drop it in the group and connect with everyone other. Okay, please. Okay, I recognize all the non-Rotarians, our guests that are on the call. I celebrate you, but I want to give you opportunity to network with others. So you're going to have 5 minutes in a breakout session. In a break, thank you. I'm seeing a message from my colleague, Rotarian Sandra. Oh wow, wow! I understand that the husband of the chair is actually here, Dr. Akisoya, chair, our husband, and that's and we have a PAG Cafe all the way from Canada. We have a lot of non-Rotarian that are on the call. Please, we celebrate you, but I want you to network. It's important I want us to be intentional. When we go for event like this, what is in it for me? This is your what is in it for you. Get to meet one Rotarian or two. You have 5 minutes, leverage it and use it. But before you go into the breakout session, I'm going to call our chair to do a vote of thanks so that in case everybody does not return, let her close out the meeting effectively. But I recognize the husband that is on call and PAG Cafe from all the way from Canada. And all our guests, if you're a guest, please drop it in the chat. I'm a guest, I'm not a Rotarian. I'd like to see so I can recognize you. I celebrate you all for being here tonight. But do not jump off this call unless you don't want to network. Like I said, your network determines your net worth. Rotarian Cafe, you keep unmuting. There's a lot of background noise. My chair, please, you have the floor. Let's close out the session and drop your LinkedIn URL and let's connect with each other. You'll be shocked what LinkedIn. I'm going to do a training on LinkedIn. Please be on the lookout for it. A lot of us are not leveraging that platform, and that's the fastest way to grow your business. You may say you already have enough money. Even Bill Gates is on LinkedIn. So please leverage on it. Connect with one another. I've dropped mine. Oh, we have a guest. We have a guest on the call. Fantastic. I'm excited. But please, before we go into the breakout session, I'm going to call my chair to do our appreciation and a vote of thanks before we get into the breakout session. So thank you so much. Our chair, please, you have the floor. Thank you to our guest Oluwapelumi for joining. Techno, I can't recognize you because your name is Techno BF whatever. Please, okay, Mr. Chinelo, we celebrate you. Thank you for joining. Please, Chair, are you there, Madam Chair?
Yes, I'm here. Yes,
you have the floor. You have the floor.
Yes. Where do I go from here? I just want to. It's quite impressive, quite educative, and insightful. I want to say thank God for this opportunity, because what we do in Women in Rotary is not just about Rotary affairs alone. It goes beyond the shores of Rotary. We have lots and lots of people that are not Rotarians, which I know in the very, very, very not too long date, they will become Rotarians, because this is what we do in Rotary. And I want to say a very big thank you to our DG first for finding time out of his very tight schedule. I know this week is very crazy with tomorrow's event and events in the district. And my thanks also goes to the facilitator for this program, Mr. Odo. Thank you very much for finding time to be part of us. And we're looking forward to no distant day that you become a Rotarian too, so that you can share your wealth of experience with us. And I know that very soon we are still going to call back on you to please expatiate further, because we don't have enough time and I don't want to bore people with this webinar. But I want to say thank you to you too. And to our moderator, thank you so much. You've been so wonderful. And to all participants on this platform, what can I say? Thank you so much. I know I have Dr. Valentine on board, and some other people. My uncle is there, Mr. Oyedele. Thank you, sir, for joining. Uncle Benga, thank you for being here. I'm sure you've learned one or two things. And for all Rotarians on board, thank you so much for coming. And we hope to see you. But before I close my appreciation, I want to invite us to this program coming up by the medical team of District 9111, coming up in the next few days. Is about men. That is the screening for this medical screening they're going to start this program. We have 12 days to go. It's for free medical screening for prostate cancer. Yes, prostate cancer. Please, I want to crave the indulgence of the moderator and our facilitator to call on Dr. Oloyede to just say one or two things before we close this webinar, please. Thank you. Dr. Oloyede, are you on board?
Yes, I'm actually here. Once again, thank you to Women in Rotary, and especially the guest lecturer and the moderator. I've enjoyed every bit of this presentation, and I've learned quite a lot. If you see, I'm in a shopping mall, but I have to move somewhere to be able to listen. Now, very quickly, the Disease Prevention and Treatment Committee, which is a very close ally, the husbands of Women in Rotary, are organizing a prostate cancer screening in the next couple of days, on the 10th of December to be precise. It's a program conjoined with 912. We are bringing in experts from UK, US to discuss with us on prostate cancer, but not just that, to also screen men for prostate cancer free, at that program. It's a very huge one. It's going to be an impactful one. Before now, we didn't only women. But for once, our women thinks we should bring our men to the forefront and take care of our men. So please, let's bring our spouses, male Rotarians, to please come forward on the 10th of December at the district office in Ikeja and take advantage of this laudable program. Thank you so much once again for giving me that few minutes. Thank you so much. Bye.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much, our chair. God bless you, sir. Thank you very much, Rotarian MGI. You are the best. Thank you. And I want to say a very big thank you to our subcommittee, our webinar subcommittee for Women in Rotary. You guys are doing wonderfully well. God bless you all. Do have a very wonderful weekend and a great week ahead.
Please wait for the breakout session. Drop your LinkedIn and connect with others. Make sure you leverage on the platform. And we have DG Speaks happening tomorrow. Please plug into that. 10 a.m. in the morning. And the number 2, there's going to be a public image seminar. Please, if you want to have your good public image, we have the governor of Ogun State, I think. We have in confirmation the commissioner for information and strategy for Lagos State that will be present. Do not miss this experience. Be part of the conversation. District 911 is not playing. They want to equip you with as many things that can help you. Please leverage on the networking session. Connect with somebody. Connect with one person today. Okay? And make friends. A lot of people always say, Mercy, it's too short. But once you see the pop-up, please join the breakout room. Thank you. Rooms are all open now. You have 5 minutes. Connect. Get to know who they are. And introduce yourself. You never know. You never know. Please go into the breakout quickly. I'm putting my timer on. Exactly 5 minutes. I'm going to close the breakout room. Please leverage on it. Connect. Please go into the breakout room. I see all of you going into the breakout room. Room 2. Adewale, Ori, Owo, Mohammed Saka, you are not going in. Please, if you're not, let me know so that nobody is waiting. Room 4, nobody's there. Okay, let me move Joyce. Okay, somebody has gone in there. Mabel has gone in. Abani Emmanuel. Okay, let me move you to let me move you to 6 very quickly. Please go and connect. Okay, Akan is alone there. Let me move him to 6 as well. Fantastic. Okay, please connect with someone. Go and make connection. Go and connect, please. Fantastic. If you're struggling, let me know. Go and meet with someone. You have 5 minutes. The time is already counting for you. Okay? But if you don't want to connect, it's fine. Okay? Oh, I moved you to, let me move you to 27777. Okay? Nobody's in 7. Oh, sugar. Okay? Let me move you there. Techno, I can't seem to move you. Okay, Mohammed Saka, sorry. I'm going to move you to an active room. Move you to 2. There are people in 2 already. I never get to experience this. Oh, wow. Okay. I love people in room 6. You are doing amazing. Okay. Rotary and Kennedy. Room 6. Is anybody there? Fantastic. There are people there. Okay. I don't want anybody. Oh, Laura is left alone. I beg your pardon. Room 7. Okay. Sugar. Nobody's in room 7. Room 3. Oh, Saka, sorry. Room 2. Go to room 1. Oh, God. Breakout. Saka, you're alone. Sorry. Please, if you're not in any room, let me know so I can reassign you. I saw. Okay, Laura, sorry, I went and moved you room 1. Please go to room 1. Yeah. Nobody's left alone. Please connect. Mohammed Saka.
Zone. When is it? On the
Okay.
it's different zone.
I can't seem to move you. I don't know why. Please network. Meet someone. I think everybody's good. Those that want to do it. Awesome.
Number 10.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Number 1. Who's number 1? Memorize.
Rotary and Kefe, you keep on muting yourself. There's no need to keep on muting.
I mean that the people that have
disturbing everybody. Okay, so for those that don't want to go into the breakout room, is there a reason? Dr. Akisoya, welcome. Thank you for being here. Are DG still on the call? Rotarian Akosa, nice to meet you. Rotarian Lewis, I see you. I celebrate you. Awesomeness. Let me announce to them. You have 2 minutes to go before we close the breakout room. You have 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes. Make it count. Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you so much. They're coming out of the breakout session now very soon. Thirty seconds to go. I'll be shutting down the breakout room now. I see everybody's coming back. How was the experience, please?
My
It
experience was
was
beautiful.
beautiful.
I
It
met
was
Oh.
Joyce
nice.
from New Jersey. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Ah, I enjoyed talking to her. Yeah, and I promise her to visit her whenever I get to New York.
Yes,
Fantastic.
so I'm expecting you.
Rotarian,
Rotarian
Rotarian,
Mercy,
yes.
good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, ma'am.
Nice to see you too, man. And
Okay, we're going to
thank
be.
you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Rotarian, Jessica, you have your hands raised. Thank you so much,
Yes,
all for.
because I wanted to share mine. I met with a PhD Bironke Ugualaba. She's a surveyor. We also met with a non-Rotarian, and very soon he will be joining Rotary. I'm excited about that. Nice to meet you, Mr. Olubenga Ogumbi. And then I also met Rotarian Laura, all from Omole Golden. You people are hot. Where are you going now?
Yay!
Okay,
Ah,
bye.
Pamole Golden.
Yeah, really
Opamole.
grateful.
Anyway, it's good. I wanted you all to connect. Please, if you have not dropped your LinkedIn, please drop it. Connect with others. Connect with others. Your business partner, your business collaborator, they are all here. And it's good to have you. Thank you, my chair, for giving me the opportunity to serve. It's always a privilege to serve. And look forward to being part of the next webinar by Women in Rotary. The next event is tomorrow morning. DG Speaks. Don't miss it. See you then. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone. Bye, bye,
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you so much. God
Thank you,
bless
Ma.
you.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you. Thank you. The webinar subcommittee. You guys are wonderful. You guys are awesome.
Yes,
God
so
Thank
will
you so
continue
much.
Sandra.
to.
Thank you so much, my man and
Ah,
the sharpest person.
my DG with the steez, like Sally would say.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rotary
Thank you
Mercy,
very much.
George. But quite
Thank you, sir.
unfortunate, you did not group me, you did not connect me. Quite
Sir, you didn't
Uh-uh.
unfortunate.
join you.
That's
You didn't
You
join,
didn't
sir.
join me, sir. You didn't join me, sir. I was supposed to join me. When
not
you
good
join,
enough.
My
you
Gigi,
connect
good
and we
morning.
invite
Good
people to
morning,
Rotary.
Sao.
I want to connect with somebody in the New York as well.
You already connected with me, sir. My
As
Gigi.
I
you.
thank you, my UP.
Thank you
All
so much,
right, bye
sir.
for now.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, our chair.
Thank you,
Thank
All
sir.
right.
you so
Yeah,
much.
bye.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate you,
Bye,
our
Thank
dear.
Looking
everyone.
you.
forward to
Secretary.
the next webinar.
Thank you.
Yay.
We look
Thank
forward to
you.
it too. And I promise
Thank
the
you so
next one
much.
is going to be awesome too. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, as usual. Well
As
done.
usual. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well done.